Okay, ladies and all right, I need to come up with a nickname for my audience. All right, you pieces of trash.
You fucking the
Welcome to
trash
Let's
cans.
Get Trashed. I don't know, maybe something more endearing than pieces of trash, but they're pieces of trash. We're all hanging out in the trash can.
We're in the trash zone.
We're in the trash zone. Let's get yeah. I should have whatever.
Let's get
Um,
slutty.
yeah. Welcome back to another exciting, dynamic, imperative episode of Let's Get Trashed. This is going to be an instructional episode. I'm going to give you instructions uh, regarding this movie that we're talking about. As you can see from the title, we are discussing Nicholas Coppola's The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent,
There it is.
which you
There
just
it
saw,
is.
Jimmy. You just saw last week, right?
Yeah, I saw Unbearable Weight and Men like 2 days apart. So Men was obviously our previous episode, but yeah, Unbearable Weight. Yeah, saw it pretty recently, so it's pretty fresh.
Cool. All right, let's get right into this one. I usually dilly dally, but I'm not gonna dilly dally today. I'm gonna dive right in. Uh, this movie. So as you can tell from the trailers, if you've seen any trailers, if you completely don't know about this, it's Nicolas Cage playing himself, a fictionalized, stylized version of himself. Um, he's kind of down on his luck, as an actor, which is kind of based in reality, right? He's had a rough go of it last few years,
I guess
or
in the
or
movie, I think he's been killing it lately, but that's just me.
okay, that's very yeah. All right, well he's definitely not killing it. He makes terrible movies.
Okay.
Um, I mean, I think he has enough money.
Yeah.
I can't imagine he's like really hungry for money nowadays. I think he had a tax thing a few years back, but I don't think he's really hungry for money.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. He makes. What do you think about Nicolas Cage? Are you because this whole film is on based on the premise that it, all these people are like huge Nicolas Cage fans and they just
Yeah.
want to hang out with him. So the main or Pedro Pascal invites him to like his birthday party. He's a billionaire and he just wants his favorite actor, the great Nicolas Cage,
Yeah.
to be there and all this kind of stuff. Um, does any of that even ring true to you at all?
What do you mean? Like, do I like Nicolas Cage like outside of the movie, or do I like this movie? Like, what are you asking?
Do you like him as an actor? Do you like
Yeah, of
a
course.
majority of his body of work?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think he's great.
Really?
Yeah, I know. I'm a fan
Is
for
he
sure.
like so? If you have one actor's catalog to take on the desert island, you're
Yeah.
stuck. You're stuck on the desert act on a desert island. You got a TV. You got a DVD player and one catalog. Every movie by this actor. Is he even in that conversation for you?
Honestly, he might be, man, because that's a lot of movies that he's been in. I mean, you get a lot of movies with Nick Cage. You get a lot of variety,
Damn, dude,
right?
that's wild. He okay. I mean,
Yeah.
no, it's not. It's not wild. Obviously, people think that way, or else this film wouldn't have even been written. But
I think here's the thing with all his movies. They don't necessarily like age well. Like he's a character like Ghost Rider. Maybe at the
mhm.
time, kind of cool. Maybe I was young enough to like it, but now you're like, this is insane. Like, I think maybe the only ones that do uh, that I'll still be hype about is probably like National Treasure. Like, I loved that shit. I absolutely loved that movie.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that was okay. I don't know. He's he makes a lot of bad films and he's bad in a lot of them.
Sure.
Um if not most of them. Probably most.
He's
He
in, he's
mostly
in,
makes bad films and he's mostly bad in them. He gets a pass because his real last name is Coppola, which means he just gets to do whatever he wants in this fucking industry for
I
until he
actually
dies.
didn't know that.
Yeah, he's a Coppola. That's why you can sit around wondering like how the hell did they even make a prestige movie about how much we love Nicolas Cage when all his movies are nonsense and bad, and then you'd be like, oh, he's a Coppola, which means he just gets like a free pass of.
Dude, his middle name is Kim.
Yeah, that's weird. I don't know why. I don't know why it's Nicholas Kim Coppola. I don't know who the Kim is.
Yeah. I mean, that's
Um,
his middle name.
yeah, I know, but I mean, I don't know why his parents invented that for him.
Did that. Yeah.
Unless there's a Kim he's named after. Unless his grandma's Kim Coppola or something like that. I don't know, Kimberly something. No idea. But if I'm on a desert island, I
Hmm.
think I would rather. I might rather stare into the sun than watch Matchstick Man again.
Okay.
That's how not in the conversation Nick Cage is as far
Yeah.
as his movies. I'm bring
You don't want to watch Sorcerer's Apprentice 1,800
I've
times?
never seen it, but I heard it was. I'm gonna be saying the word dog shit a lot in this
Yeah.
episode, folks.
Okay.
Um, I've never seen it, but I've heard that about that film. I heard that was a particularly egregious.
Yeah.
Obviously, Face Off is historically bad, even though people love it. But if you love it, you're wrong. You love it for the wrong reasons, but it's very bad. Um,
Oh, I didn't know he was in. Oh, yeah, he is in Into the Spider-Verse because he plays the Spider Noir character.
oh, I've never saw that, but that's
Spider.
a cartoon, right?
Yeah, it's cartoon. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, voice actory stuff doesn't count. You can
Okay.
do whatever you
So
want.
you legitimately have you always thought Nick Cage is bad, or it's just aged bad, and now you're like, what is he doing? He's done too many movies. Like,
I've
there's
seen
never been a point in time where you're like, oh, Nick Cage is great. I'm going to see this movie. Like at an
no,
earlier age.
definitely not. I mean,
Okay.
I've seen so many of his movies. Obviously, I've seen Face Off, Con Air, The Rock. I've gone through that. I was
Done the
coming
early
up in the
shit.
'90s watching all this
Gone in
stuff.
60 Seconds.
Gone in 60 Seconds. Again,
That's a good movie.
he's got okay. I wouldn't say it's a good movie. Yeah, he's got movies I like. I like Gone in 60 Seconds. I like The Rock. I like a lot of the stuff he's in. To be especially in the '90s,
Yep.
early 2000s. I'm not gonna say he's good in it, but there's some stuff that's okay. I liked National Treasure as well. I don't love it.
Yep.
I don't think it's that good. But that's the other thing is he also only makes all the movies of his that are like tolerable
Yeah.
are these kind of weird action movies. Like Gone in 60 Seconds is good or it's fun to watch, but it's no he doesn't have a good movie with any depth to it.
Okay.
People say Pig, the new one Pig is actually really good. I might
haven't
watch
seen
I might watch that cuz they say he can actually act in that one. But I don't know. I've never seen anything. Moonstruck made me sick.
it. Yeah.
Moonstruck is terrible. I know both my parents, if they're listening, are fucking screaming at their iPhones right now. But you're wrong. Moonstruck sucks. And I don't know. But anything he tries to be in, Raising Arizona,
Raising Arizona.
I didn't like that much.
Okay.
My brother loves that movie,
It's like
and I mean a lot
it's
of
like a
people love
cult
that movie.
movie.
Yeah, it's a cult classic. It's
Yeah.
Early Coen Brothers movie, probably the first Coen Brothers comedy, I think. Because Blood Simple was like their first movie, which is a drama, and then Raising Arizona might be 2 or 3. It might be the first time they did like comedy, but
Okay.
it's not that funny to me.
Yeah.
It's not that funny, and he's just what he is, which is weird. And he talks about when Nicolas Cage in interviews talks about himself being a maximalist actor.
Okay. What
He's
does that
not.
mean? I
He's
don't know what
not
that
trying
is.
to be nuanced, but his entire career, like what Al Pacino is now. Al
Yeah.
Pacino is now the
just
hoo-ah.
Yeah.
He's the big, he's big energy guy. Nicolas Cage has been that from the beginning,
Yeah.
but Al Pacino sucks now.
Yeah.
Al Pacino used to be great when he was this guy, when he was when he was Godfather, Dog Day Afternoon. Pacino used to be great, and
Yeah.
then Scent of a
Now he's a
Woman.
caricature.
Yeah, Scent of a Woman. He became hoo-ah guy, and now he's just that in every movie times 10. He's getting worse. He played
Yeah.
in The Irishman. He played Jimmy Hoffa as. I mean, I don't know. I've never seen Jimmy Hoffa on TV. Maybe Jimmy Hoffa was like this.
Yeah.
But I don't think so. I think they just needed Al Pacino.
Well, when you're
Al
that,
Pacino played hoo-ah Jimmy Hoffa, which is fucking insane.
well, he's not like I think when you get to that age and that scale of acting too, like you don't get notes on set. You know, you don't get direction. You just do whatever you want, and then people are like, "Well, we got Al Pacino in it." You know?
Maybe you get notes from Martin Scorsese,
Yeah, I
who
don't know. I mean,
directed The
how?
Irishman.
Yeah,
I mean, how is
but
Scorsese?
he's already so Al Pacino. Like, what do you really say to him? You know, you can't be like, do a fucking,
Yeah. You say,
accent.
give me a little less.
Yeah, but yeah,
Give me a little less.
maybe you could do that.
Then you
Yeah,
do that 40 times in a row, and by take 41, you have something. And then you just keep doing that until he realizes, okay, I got to just do everything less, or I have to do a bunch of takes.
yeah,
That's how you get a. That's how you get. You just do a little by. That was great, man. Just give me a little less. That's
sure.
how. That's how you deal with like actors. Oh, you know what? Let me get a little more. Let me get a little less. Let me try something. You know, can we try or be like, let's just for fun. We do this in the studio too. You're working on a solo. You're like, just for fun. Let me hear. We have your planned take. We
Sure.
have that in the can, right? Let's try this one more, and just go completely different. Go in a completely different direction.
Yeah,
Let me see something completely different, and then whatever it is, the director pretends like, oh, that's really good. Let's take that and do something with it.
sure.
That's how you get a guy to give you something different. Is you pretend like, oh, we got something great already. Now let's just do one more for safety and be like, you know,
You trick them.
yeah,
Okay.
um, you know, it's yeah, the same kind of thing you would get from music. You get from actors behind as you're trying to give them some direction. And some directors don't even deal with the acting of it that much. Some directors leave it completely up to the actor, and they just handle like the more the technical stuff. They're not worried about they're not worried about the performance really. They're letting the actors dictate the performance.
Sure.
Some guys, I think Woody Allen is a very big actor director. He's in addition to being just a brilliant like shot composer and doing really great stuff of actual camera work. Actors all say they love working with him,
Yeah.
but he gives them a lot of feedback on behavior and stuff like that, and that kind of stuff that helps them out, and they really like it. Even some of the best actors, De Niro says he loves it when a director gives him notes. He
Okay.
wants these actors that I've heard in interviews. They all say, maybe because it's the polite thing to say, but they all say, yeah, I want a director who's given me feedback. I want to be like, I want to know that I'm accomplishing your vision in the right way.
Yes.
So I don't know. I don't know if Pacino's like that. I don't know if Nicolas Cage has ever listened to anybody. I don't know if Nicolas Cage has ever seen somebody else act.
I've seen like another person's movie outside his own movie.
Yeah, has he ever watched any other actors besides himself in a mirror, like an improv class? Like
Sure.
what the fuck is this dude doing in
Yeah.
everything? Matt
But
Stickman when he added
what's like the
Tourette's.
latest, like besides Massive Talent, what's like the last Nicolas Cage movie you've seen? Like I'm sure it's been a
Man,
while.
it has been a while. I don't know if I have the answer to that.
Just from the last even 10 years.
So definitely, let's see. What was Kick-Ass before or after National Treasure?
It was after because that's 2010.
National
So
Treasure is?
I think the last National Treasure was 2007. So Kick-Ass
Okay.
was 2010.
Okay, so I definitely saw that. I might have seen one or two after that. Maybe one after that.
Yeah.
And Kick-Ass is bad. Kick-Ass is not good either.
Mhm.
Another Lionsgate film. Lionsgate makes bad, or actually, this Lionsgate didn't make this movie, but they did produce it, or they did distribute it. They bought the rights for it. But Lionsgate has. I always talk about how A24 is great taste. They're a distribution company that purchases really great films and distributes them to theaters. Lionsgate is the opposite. Lionsgate is the moronic counterpart to A24, who's been
Sure.
around a lot longer. But if you go through Lionsgate catalog, damn,
It's very bad.
these guys, I don't know what they're watching. How did you think this was good for so many things? So yeah, this is a Lionsgate film. That being said, so we'll get back into the film. We'll get to the
Sure,
little bit of
sure.
the storyline of it. Nicolas Cage, famous actor, trying to get some parts, not exactly getting it. He has a ghost of himself. He has like a Jiminy Cricket that's a younger Nicolas Cage. That's actually Nicholas Coppola. He's got his Jiminy Cricket that's hanging out on his shoulder, trying to give him advice. Is Nicholas Coppola, a 21-year-old leather jacket wearing Nick Cage, who's like
Who's full Nicolas Cage, like
hyping
over
him
the
up.
top.
Yeah.
Going crazy.
He has these like hallucinations that he thinks he's like talking to himself, and he's like, "Yeah, dude, I'm doing great. You're right, dude. I am crushing it." So that's like the voice in his head, the Jiminy Cricket, I love to call it, and so he's got that, and then he gets this offer. He's not getting the movies he wants. He gets this offer. Some billionaire wants you to hang. He's going to give you $1 million if you come to his birthday party in, Greece, like on some island.
Yeah, and he doesn't want to do that, but he's kind of he owes people money, right? He's even the place he's staying at. They're like, dude, the bill is due, basically.
Oh yeah. He's living in a exactly. He's living in a fancy hotel like Royal
Furnished
Tenenbaum.
hotel.
Can't afford it. Yeah.
So he's like, he doesn't want to do the birthday party. He tells his agent, but the door's locked on the his hotel, and he's like, fuck, I gotta do
that's
it.
right. He gets evicted. Yeah, he gets evicted from
He's
his
like,
hotel. I forgot
oh,
about
God
that.
damn, all right, I'll do the goddamn birthday party. I'm not a clown, but I need to do it for money. So
Yeah, so he goes and does that, and it's I will say it's funny. I mean, so it's a funny movie, and it's not a bad movie.
yeah,
And I started.
he's
joking
he's in on the joke.
He
and
does this thing. He does
Yeah.
every time
Nick
he meets
Cage,
somebody.
yeah.
He does this karate thing where he puts like an
Yeah.
open palm into his fist, or his fist
Yeah.
into his open palm, and like nods. That's very funny. I wrote down, I was like, I'm gonna do that with everybody I meet from now on.
Nick Tozzo.
Yeah, nice to meet you. I'm just gonna do that.
Nice to meet you.
But then people will think I'm like the world's biggest Nick Cage. You don't understand how ironic I'm being. The world doesn't understand me in my sense of irony. So he's now hanging out with Pedro Pascal, famously from Narcos and a bunch of other
Game of
stuff. He's in a Star War now of some
Yeah.
kind. So yeah, Pedro Pascal, who's good. He plays a kind of a weird, timid kind of weirdo who is he's the leader of an international drug cartel. And the other thing, this is the other plot point early on is that a young girl gets kidnapped, and we discover through like news reels and stuff like that she's the daughter of some president. So the president's daughter, some country is about to have an election, and the president's daughter gets kidnapped.
Yeah.
Or the candidate's daughter gets kidnapped.
They're kidnapping the daughter to hopefully ensure that candidate's isn't going to get elected.
Yeah, they want him to drop out of the race so that the other guy will win, because the other guy loves drugs.
Yeah,
and he's gonna let the drug cartel do whatever they want.
Yeah.
So the guy who's not gonna stop the guy who wants to stop the drug cartel, his daughter, they're gonna kidnap. And of course, then they the government they ask the CIA for help, which is why we have Tiffany Haddish,
yeah,
and some other dude who I don't remember his name or what he looks like. And also
Baron Holtz.
Okay. Alec Baron. So also slight digression. Anybody watching this? Also, especially, I don't know what our international listenership looks like, but
Worldwide.
Just a heads up. If your president's daughter gets kidnapped, whatever country you're from, the CIA did it. Don't call the CIA and ask them for help. Call the CIA and ask for your daughter back, because that's who has it in real life. If somebody's trying to interfere with your election and kidnap your king's daughter or whatever the fuck, the CIA already has her. That's who took her.
Yeah.
It's got nothing to do with, it's got nothing to do with anything else. I promise it's the CIA.
But in this,
but not in this movie. In this movie.
In fact,
actually the drug cartel.
They don't really. I guess they care about the daughter. Why does the CIA care about the daughter in this film?
Exactly.
That doesn't really
That's
make any sense to me.
it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no real reason.
There's no.
I think maybe that I think the conceit that they tried to put forth is that the anti-drug cartel candidate asked the CIA for help, and they wanted to help him because the CIA is the good guys who are trying to stop violent drug cartels. And
Yeah.
once again, folks, none of that is
Not
based
that.
in reality
That's not
at all.
believable. Yeah.
That's
They
not.
would. They would
This,
want the drug guy to win.
the CIA is not who stops drug cartels. The CIA
Yeah.
is the reason we have drug cartels killing innocent people in other countries. That's where do you think drug cartels get their guns and money from?
Yep.
I guarantee you it's that's who did it to you.
So what is it about Pedro Pascal that he keeps getting into drug cartel move or situations as an actor? What's that about?
Is that typecasting?
Is that typecasting?
He's from Chile, so he's a Chilean, Chilean American, I guess. He can speak Spanish, and he voluntarily has a mustache, like even in real life. And so they're just like, yeah, oh, you're
the guy.
You're the guy.
You're the drug guy.
You're Narcos.
Yeah,
you're playing this character. I don't know. Does he do drugs in Star Wars?
He doesn't do drugs.
Whatever.
No, he doesn't. He's more like a monk kind of vibe.
Okay.
So good for him on that front, getting a different role.
Yeah,
but,
I can't remember what else I've seen him in. He's good. He's good in everything.
Well, Game of Thrones is his breakout for sure.
Oh, I didn't watch much of that.
He was great in it. He's fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah. He's a key player.
That was his breakout, Game of Thrones. Huh?
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. Yeah, I didn't know about that. Cool. Yeah. So he's a TV guy who's finally making his way into movies. Good for him. Yeah. I mean, he's very good. No complaints here, and he does a good job of being a timid, even though he's this drug cartel leader.
Yeah.
He's kind of a timid weirdo, and
he's not
nervous.
necessarily a leader, I would say, but his family's affiliated with it, and he gets to use the money from it. So
let's not get into spoilers yet.
Okay, cool.
Don't forget that's the spoiler. He is the international leader of this drug cartel, and then which nobody knows except for the CIA.
Yeah.
And then when they see Nicolas Cage getting off the plane heading to his birthday party, that's when the Tiffany Haddish and the other CIA dude intercept him to be like, "Hey, you got this invite. We need you to help us out and be a spy."
Yeah.
And spy on this guy. And then it's just a bunch of weird hanging out jokes. They do, Nick Cage and Pascal, they go through like his museum of all his Nicolas Cage art, memorabilia.
Yeah, Pascal, obviously a fan of Nick Cage, the movie character, has a script that he wants him to read. And at first, Nick Cage is like very annoyed by him and like, this is lame. And then Pascal wins his love and affection through some silliness, basically.
Yeah, they do drugs and do some silliness.
Yes, they do drugs and get drunk together and have great times and start to become very, very good friends.
That's how they become best friends.
Yeah. And then so Nick Cage is having this like, I guess, dilemma because he's supposed to spy on him or do things for the CIA all of a sudden. And then he's like, I don't think he's this guy, but like maybe he is this guy. And there's sort of this like back and forth, I guess.
He's struggling with his, the CIA keeps telling him that they're clandestine meetings. CIA is telling him this guy's evil, and Nicolas Cage is like, everything I've experienced with him has been great.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know how to what's the word I'm looking for? I'm looking for he doesn't know how to it's not consolidate.
Well, he just thinks he has a good read on people.
I'm embarrassing myself by not being able to think of this word.
Yeah. Well, he thinks because of his like the joke is he's always talking about himself and his methods that he uses as an actor in everyday situations. So he's like saying that based on his readings and his acting that he understands Pedro's character, and he doesn't believe that he would have kidnapped, the daughter type of thing.
Right.
Not the most important thing for this conversation, but yeah, basically, they're hanging out, they become friends. There's a lot of action things happening because the CIA is involved and there's some cartel shit going down, and Nick Cage is just being full Nick Cage kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So before we get into spoilers. Maybe we won't even do too much spoilers on this one. Um, I'm going to say my biggest complaint about this film
Mm-hmm.
is that if you want to see this film for its comedy purposes, and it is a pretty funny film, but if you're going to go see this film for comedy reasons, you want to go see this and laugh. You're not, because it is like an action comedy. Um, if you're trying to see this as a comedy, do not, if you can avoid it, do not watch the trailer, because the television trailer spoiled. There's 3 ostensibly big laughs in this film, and all 3 of them happened in the trailer.
That's a bummer. Yeah.
Right? Climbing over the wall. They're on drugs, and they're like, we have to climb over the wall, blah blah blah, and they're that big panicky, anxiety-inducing scene.
Sure.
And then one of them gets over the wall, and the other one's like, I'm gonna die back here. And it's like, I'm sorry, thanks for sacrificing yourself. And they're just like freaking out because they're on acid or mushrooms or whatever. They're crazy on drugs. And then they look and they're like, oh, we could have just walked around the wall. It's right. It's 2 feet away. That's supposed to be a big reveal, misdirection, joke kind of laugh. But we saw it in the trailer.
Yeah.
Totally
unnecessary.
The other misdirection, silly joke. They're talking about their favorite movies. Pedro Pascal says, I love Paddington 2, which I think is about a bear.
Yeah.
He says he loves that movie. And then Nicolas Cage says, that's crazy. You're a 50-year-old man. How could that be your favorite movie? And then you smash cut to they're both sitting there on the couch watching the credits roll, and they're both crying their eyes out. And Nicolas Cage goes, that's the best movie I've ever seen. It's so whatever. I don't know anything about that movie. I don't know if it's actually that good or whatever. I don't even know if there is a Paddington 2. What I do know is that I saw that joke in the trailer. The other one, well, I guess that's there was a third one too that I don't remember, but it's just, oh yeah, the movie prop one. When he's in Pedro Pascal's museum.
Yeah, his shrine to Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage movie props. Oh, here's the guns from Face Off. Here's the rock from The Rock. Here's the here's the little green balls from The Rock. Here's the matchstick from Matchstick Men. It's all that kind of shit. And then there's like the big statue of Nicolas Cage, and he's like, that thing. Again, the misdirection joke is he's going, oh, that thing is creepy and disgusting. I hate the way it looks so terrible. Then there's the big pause, and he turns around and says, I'll give you $20,000 for it.
Yeah.
That subverting expectations. Again, wasn't that funny. Definitely wasn't funny after I saw the trailer 4 times on TV and then had to see it in the movie. So a really, really poor job of, and then there's not a ton, I don't remember, and I saw this movie several weeks ago, so I'm a little out of it, but there's not a ton of belly laughs, I don't think, right?
No, not necessarily. I mean, I'm sure what their intention was in the trailer was to like show you the chemistry between the 2 characters and the actors, because the chemistry I think is great between Nicolas Cage and Pedro Pascal. And it is funny. It's kind of like it's sort of just like a steady aha kind of thing the whole time. You're just like, oh, okay. Like, and it is kind of fun, kind of a fun movie. I enjoyed it, but especially if you've seen enough Nicolas Cage movies, I think people would probably like it. So unfortunately they probably could have shown that chemistry without giving away all those, maybe some of the bigger, like what were supposed to be, the funniest parts of the movie.
Yeah, that's the thing, is so many punchlines get dropped in the trailer, and so and then what? Then we're running out of punchlines, folks, and running out of punchlines. That's a good name for something. But I don't know. So yeah, this movie is obviously for people who are like big Nicolas Cage fans, or you're just big like. It's if you're a person that just loves references, you love seeing stuff, which is a lot of stuff. Every Disney movie, every fucking Star Wars TV show is just like hiding Easter eggs for fans to see. Like, oh my god, that's the guy from the original Star Wars. That's the oh what wow the same
Yeah.
it's just it's just referencing its own universe. This movie is kind of making in a sense, and it's kind of making fun of like if you could interpret this film as like a dig at Disney in a sense of like everything Disney makes is nowadays is just referencing
Another
something
thing. Yeah.
something that they already made or something that they already own. All their Star Wars TV shows are just like it's just nothing but fan service and references. So things for the fans to be like, oh, I recognize that.
That's a lightsaber.
Yeah, that's the guy from. I mean, I remember. I mean, I haven't seen a Star Wars movie, a Star Wars thing in years.
Yeah.
Because I'm done. And longtime listeners are well aware of my stance on Disney and their presence in the film community. But I'm done with I'm done with all that kind of shit. But I remember from Rogue One.
Yep.
There was a scene. They're just walking down the street on some planet, whatever dumb planet they're on for no reason. They're walking down the street and they bump shoulders with.
Oh God, yeah, the tavern guys.
With whatever his name is, Ponda Baba, and the other guy who, like in the original Star Wars, Alec Guinness cuts off his arm because they're about to start a fight with Mark Hamill. Like, we just have to see those two. How tiny how tiny is this universe? Star Wars is the smallest. Star Wars is a small town because you just see the same people everywhere. It's insane that like we have to see these minor characters in the background of it. Again, it's like a small town. Everybody's in my business. I just see everybody. It just doesn't seem, what's the point of having a giant fictional universe if there's only 40 people living in the entire thing and you just keep bumping into each other?
That's kind of specifically, I think, what this movie is supposed to be. It's supposed to be like a huge Nicolas Cage nod, right?
Of course it is. Yeah,
but that going in.
That's on the surface.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean is like the subtle thing. If I'm giving it too much credit maybe by saying it's a dig at Disney for like everything you make is just like this.
Mm-hmm.
The Star Wars version of Unbearable Weight of
the Cage universe.
Yeah. So that's where I guess we can get into spoilers. So Nicolas Cage is being pressured by the government, by the CIA to, spy on his new friend, feeling bad about it. Nicolas Cage, because of Nicolas Cage is feeling so conflicted about this, he starts being, I don't know, weird.
Yeah, because now he's like not openly, but he's definitely has some deceit against his new best friend.
Yeah. That's and then that prompts Pedro Pascal to surreptitiously fly Nick Cage's ex-wife and daughter over to Hungary or wherever they're hanging out.
Yeah.
But just behind his back, he's like, I think my friend Nick Cage is acting weird. I'm gonna get his wife and daughter here so that he can have his family with him and we can do like a group therapy session.
Yeah, because basically on acid, they decide that they need to write a movie together. Yeah. And so Pedro Pascal's character is totally fixated on writing this movie. And when Nick Cage has some bad ideas for the movie because he's asking CIA leading questions, he's like, wait, you're being weird. What's going on? We need to get your family out here and have like some sort of intervention so you can work your shit out and we can write our movie.
Right.
Which
is, how can you even tell if Nick Cage is being weird? Like that's the whole. It's like there are no red flags of like, damn, Nick Cage is acting kind of weird today. Is something wrong? Like no, that's what he is. You can't tell. The whole premise of the movie is that we can't tell if he's acting weird because he's a weird guy. Mm-hmm. But Nick Cage walks into a room and sees his wife and daughter sitting there, panicked and worried about him, and he takes that as a threat, and that's his first clue that this guy is an evil dude. Yeah. He kidnapped my family without telling me. And then we get into the big spoiler, which is bump dum. Spoilers. Skip ahead like 2 minutes because we're probably not going to talk about this very long. But big spoilers. Pedro Pascal is actually not a violent drug criminal.
Yeah.
Pedro Pascal is just the polite face that they put on the organization to be like a pretend legitimate businessman. But the actual criminal is Pedro Pascal's neck tattoo cousin. He's the actual mastermind of the cartel.
Yeah.
He's the one that kidnapped the girl. He is the one that wants to kill Nick Cage when she finds out he's part of the CIA. Yeah, so it's actually the cousin. And then, then there's just a big action set piece at the end of like, we got to get the cousin.
Yeah. And there's a lot of like, so in the movie they're writing, which this was like kind of a funny thing, I guess, that like the fake movie Nicolas Cage and Pedro Pascal are writing is kind of happening in real time, because he's like, what if my daughter got kidnapped?
Mm-hmm.
And then, right, his daughter does get kidnapped. Like, kind of some of the themes of the movie that they're like writing kind of are happening. Like,
yeah, those are
as like a layered thing in the movie, I guess. Like, I don't know. There's some funny things in it.
Yeah, that's right. Those are the leading questions of like, so if you kidnapped a girl, where would you hide her? Where do you think this character would hide her? And Pedro Pascal's like, what does kidnapping have to do with this buddy comedy we're trying to write? Yeah. So, sorry, everybody. We have to do these in sections now because Zoom reinstated their 40-minute limit. So now everything is like, every episode we have to do 2 different Zoom calls, and we sometimes lose our train of thought because of that.
We're like, wait, what were we talking about?
Yeah, not that our thoughts were so profound, anyways.
Not that they were going anywhere.
Yeah. So then after that big reveal and all that kind of stuff, then we have a big action scene, and Nicolas Cage has to save the day and all this kind of stuff, and Pedro Pascal readjusts his loyalties to his friends and not the family anymore.
Yes.
Blah blah.
He's
blah
like,
blah.
I gotta stand up to my family and my family, and
do the right thing.
So he turns out to be actually a good guy, which is very nice. He turned out to be a genuine person, because as an audience member, when he's like, brought your family down here, and he's doing things throughout the film that you're like, is he a crime guy? I don't think he is. But then he turns out he's like, no, he's a genuine just guy, fan of Nick Cage that was excited to write a movie with him.
Yeah, it explains all his like weirdness and timidness. You're like, how is this nervous movie fan a hardened drug criminal? And it's like, oh, because he's not.
Yeah, yeah. So it kind of redeems his like initial arc of just being that guy, which is great.
Yeah,
yeah.
A lot of product placement in this movie,
really,
and not just like not just obviously Nick Cage's film catalog, which is a type of product placement, but that fits in the story. But I wrote down, you see a lot of boxes of Fruit Loops with the logo very prominently displayed.
Yeah, I guess so, huh?
Oh, there's a lot of that in this film. There's a lot of like, but so many movies do that.
Sure.
Nowadays, that's an extra source of funding. They reach out to corporations, or the studios have deals with corporations to, prominently display products. It's so jarring.
It's a little gross. Yeah.
If you notice it, which I always notice it, which is why I hate so many of these corporate films and stuff like that.
Yeah.
These big studio productions, because they're just, again, literally like zooming in on a box of Fruit Loops while Nick Cage and Pascal are trying to have a conversation.
Yeah.
It's so Fruit Loops is the big one I wrote down. But yeah, and then that's basically it. Nick Cage plays this like out of touch Hollywood shithead version of himself. I don't know how different that is from the real Nick Cage. Obviously, it's supposed to be different. It's supposed to be a funnier, hyper stylized version.
It's supposed to be rock bottom Nick Cage that wins his family back.
Yeah,
Because I guess we didn't even really talk like the rock bottom Nick Cage at the beginning of the movie. Not only does he need money, but his family hates him. His
that's true.
ex
Yeah,
fiance or ex wife and daughter hate him because he's too self absorbed and kind
yeah,
of all this stuff.
right. Yeah, he's
You
a
know,
self-absorbed Hollywood
yeah.
shithead. He 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 doesn't do anything for other people.
He
I
makes
wrote
everything
down,
about himself, right? Yeah.
yeah, he's a, if you want to see a really well done version of this type of narcissistic character, you should watch two TV shows. One is called The Office, starring Ricky Gervais. It's 2 seasons and a holiday special. It's an English TV show. And then the other show you should watch is called The Comeback with Valerie Cherish, starring Lisa Kudrow. And though that those are the good versions of what Nicolas Cage is trying to do in this movie,
Sure.
of being just this weird narcissist who can't focus on anybody else, or can't make the moment not about them. Like Nicolas Cage goes to his daughter's birthday and he immediately, he stumbles in halfway through, they're singing. They've already cut the cake. He's late because he's a bad guy. And then he immediately like sits on the piano and is like, hey, everybody, look at me. I'm gonna sing a song. I'm gonna sing my daughter's favorite song, and it's not her favorite song. It's
Yeah.
just some
It's
shit
just
he
made up
likes,
bullshit.
and he's just trying to entertain all her friends, um, who have a mixture of either don't care or are genuinely like, they're teenagers and they're happy to see an actor, a famous guy like in the house that they can, hang out with. But so he's just very self-absorbed. He keeps having daddy-daughter days, and all he does is show her fucking old movies from the 40s that she doesn't like. He
Yeah.
claims to like. I wonder what Nicolas Cage actually enjoys.
Yeah, that's a good question because in this version of himself that he's playing like a very self-absorbed, overly like pretentious actor. You
Yeah,
know,
right.
uh,
Yeah, he really thinks he's a fucking thespian.
he says it a bunch of times in the film. The different acting techniques that he uses in the real world, and just like,
Yeah,
uh, and it's kind of a funny play on making fun of actors too. And so
right.
I have to think that he's not that way because he performed it so well at like out of the box, maybe, or like on a like different level. Like, I don't think you could actually be that way and do that and perform it knowing the joke,
I
So
don't
I hope
know. The
that
best,
would be impressive.
the comeback with Valerie Cherish on
Yeah.
HBO Max, which was an HBO show starring Lisa Kudrow. It's the best. She's a failed actress trying to get back into acting on sitcoms, and she gets a reality show to like document her return to the screen. And Lisa Kudrow is one of the funniest people ever. She's such a great actress, one of the funniest comedic actresses I've ever seen. She does such an incredible job of being this character, this shithead who Valerie Cherish is terrible. Basically, she's just some terrible sitcom actor, but
Yeah.
she takes it so seriously, and she's always trying to have these, moments, for her reality show that's following her around. It's geniusly done, and I don't think Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent is geniusly done.
Sure.
Yeah, Nick Cage mentions a movie a lot, The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari,
Yeah.
some 1920s silent horror film from Germany.
Yeah.
That's supposedly like the first horror movie, but that's his pretentious reference.
This is North Star.
Yeah, that's what he brings up all the time.
Yeah.
And then, him and Pedro Pascal bond. Oh, I've seen that. Yeah, I love that. We're both horror. I don't know. That's a very common thing I see in movies of people bonding over obscure horror films
Sure.
or old time. You know what? You know what else? The movie I just watched recently that happened in. Jason Bateman and now Elliot Page bonded that way over in Juno.
Okay.
Jason Bateman was adopting the child,
Oh,
And
okay.
yeah, Juno's about a
It's been so long.
high
Yeah,
school girl
yeah.
that gets pregnant and
I remember. I remember
gives
it
up
kind of.
yeah.
Yeah.
So Jason Bateman and the main character Juno, that was their, the main character. I have to say the main character because I don't want to accidentally say the wrong
Yeah.
pronoun. But um, not that I have enough listeners to cancel me from anything. But I'm trying not to. I'm trying to do the right thing, whatever that is. The main character and who's having a baby. They bond over like, oh, you haven't seen this. Punk rock and horror movies is like their bonding moment, and I've seen that in plenty of other stuff too.
It's a quick way to establish a connection between two characters, I guess, maybe.
Yeah, you know what?
Um,
It's a kind of a
Kind of what it
shortcut.
is.
It's
Yeah,
yeah,
it's a shortcut
it's
way
a
to be like,
cheap
oh, are we best friends? You kind of
yeah,
thing. Like,
yep. It's a cheap
Yeah,
shortcut because it's like, oh, I also love obscure horror movies. Wow, we have the
yeah,
same taste in media consumption. We must be socially compatible.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's what that is. It's kind of a cheap, shallow shortcut. We haven't the last few episodes we've done. We haven't really. I haven't done a good job of kind of demarcating our section of do you recommend this film or not?
Sure.
If you're a longtime fan of Let's Get Trashed, you'll know that I always give a yes or no answer. I treat it like I would a conversation. If I'm having a conversation with somebody, am I going to recommend this movie or am I going to not recommend it? My various co-hosts and friends over the months have, Steve doesn't likes to do a number thing. He likes to rate it 1 through 10.
Mhm.
My buddy Maldo was a thumbs up, thumbs down kind of guy. He's throwback to Ebert and Roper. Jimmy, how would you like to inform the audience of whether or not you recommend this film?
I'm gonna recommend it, but I'm gonna give reasons why.
Go
Because
for it.
I think I would recommend this movie to certain people, not everybody. But I'm gonna say yes. I think it was creative enough. I think the jokes were like serving enough for what they were trying to do, and I think for what they were trying to do, I think they did it well. I think it's fine. Yeah, I would recommend it.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Not exactly a ringing endorsement, though.
Yeah.
You're not. You don't. You don't. Maybe I beat the enthusiasm out of you. I'm sorry.
No, I
'Cause
mean, I
I'm
would
starting.
say, especially if you've seen Nick Cage movies, and if you are, which everyone has, but if you
Mhm.
want to see the most Nick Cage movie, as in enjoying it, for him being over the top, I think this is a great movie. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah. I think I liked it. I think I enjoyed myself. In the theater more than more at the time because since I've seen this movie again a few weeks ago, thinking about it and definitely actually talking through it today, I think I presented a much more negative reaction to it than I actually kind of had at the time. But putting any kind of thought about it and thinking about the film, just over the last hour, 45 minutes, I'm realizing I just didn't like it that much.
sure.
And which at the time I think it was fine. I enjoyed my theater experience, and it
That's
is
kind of how I would judge a movie, though, right?
it is creative. It is clever.
Yeah.
It's cleverly done. It's funny to be this meta, as people are saying a lot now. It's to be so metaphysical. It's a movie about itself. It's about he's acting about himself or acting like himself, but a different. It's supposed to be this whole kind of thing. Um, what were you saying? You think you should just enjoy it in the moment,
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, if you're enjoying the movie
or just
and
judge it on
you're
how you
in
felt in
it,
the moment?
yeah, that's how I judge everything. Because you can't think what you're feeling, right? You can't think like later, like, oh, but this and that, and compare it to other things. Like, I think if you're enjoying it in the moment and you're in the theater and you're like, oh, okay, like that was a silly time. Like, I think that's great.
I disagree.
Okay.
You're not wrong, but here's what I understand, and I understand why plenty of people feel that way, and it's not crazy to think that way. It's like, yeah, I had fun for 2 hours, and then that works if you forget everything about the film and don't think about it. If you're a guy or if you're a person that likes to think about these kind of things, if you're a big film fan or whatever it is, concert, reading a book,
Sure.
whatever art form you are enjoying or experiencing at that time, the thing that the sitting in a theater and watching something lasts 2 hours, or nowadays everything lasts fucking 3 hours, but it lasts 2 hours, that experience. But my thoughts about the movie that last until I don't remember it anymore.
Sure.
That's a lot longer.
Like the lingering things about the film, or
Well,
that.
And I like, again, as I'm a guy that loves movies and I love talking about them and thinking about them and watching other movies and putting that stuff together. So I spend way more time thinking about a film that I've seen than I do actually watching it.
Ah, okay.
And so even if in those 2 hours I was moderately entertained and generally kind of positive about it, as I continue to experience the film by like thinking about it and comparing it to other stuff and to a degree analyzing it, if that's what changes my mind on the film, that's as valuable, I think. If not more so. I mean, again,
I don't know if it's I can't say it's a one way or the other. I think it just depends on how invested you are in it, or I definitely am more experience like driven, and then I move on. Actually, I'll forget this movie immediately. Like I probably won't completely break it down, that way. But we probably just have different.
Yeah, no, I've got
different brains.
I've got a pretty good memory for film stuff. But yeah, that's the situation I find myself in, because again, like I said, I had a moderately good time. Anything's great with popcorn and the liquor I sneak into the theater.
But I like all of the movies.
and of course, obviously, you recommend stuff to different people. As a general thing, I'm gonna say don't. I'm not aggressively saying don't go see this movie.
Yeah,
but I can't recommend that you go see it. I'm thinking about like the
it's
people in my
time.
life. Yeah.
Yeah.
But if I ever met somebody who said Nicolas Cage was their favorite actor, who didn't know about this film and hadn't already seen it, that's the other thing, is that person doesn't exist or need my recommendation.
Sure.
This is for this podcast is for Ohio. This podcast is for undecided voters.
Sure.
People who somehow haven't made their minds up on the issues yet.
Yeah.
So this is for Ohio, and it's if you somehow haven't seen this film and you love Nicolas Cage, then I couldn't be happier to recommend this to you, because I think you'll have a great time. Or if you like
Pedro Pascal, even, because I think he did a really, really cool job.
Oh yeah, he was. That's right. That's a good point.
Yeah.
He's fun to watch in it. He's funny in it.
Yeah. There's like a thing that happens sometimes where there's like a new actor and he's kind of like getting into things, and you're kind of rooting for him. That was kind of my thing too with like seeing this film, is like, oh, he's like, I really enjoy him. Like, I'd love to see him do a good job. Like, I hope this is a film that's like good for him. Like you kind of root for actors, like in the corner.
No, I know exactly what you mean. I mean,
and I thought he was great in it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. I root for, I'm rooting big time for, I'm just begging Timothée Chalamet not to let me down.
Yeah.
I mention that kid on every podcast, but I just think he's tremendous. I think he's good, and I just don't want him. I'm hoping he never makes a bad film. I'm hoping he never puts a cape on. Is what I'm hoping. Just keep trying to really act. But Pedro Pascal is definitely very, like, it's obviously very talented and fun. What's his name? Neil Patrick Harris plays a small role in this. He's always,
for some reason. Yeah.
Yeah, he plays the agent who's the, I don't know, disinterested kind of agent. I'm not really sure. He's been in a few big movies. He was the bad guy in the new Matrix movie.
Terrible movie. Very bad.
Yeah, that wasn't great. I liked it more than, it's the second best Matrix movie.
Did you guys talk about that movie?
No, I haven't done an episode on that.
Okay.
You want to do one later? Later in the month?
It kind of depresses me, man. But
okay.
Yeah. We'll see.
Let's talk about it in a few weeks.
Yeah.
That could be another in the can episode.
In the can.
Because that one, although it is out on streaming. Anyway.
Yeah.
So Jimmy recommends this movie. I don't recommend it. Don't bother to go see it. The people that are definitely going to go see it don't care about my recommendation, so don't go see it. I don't think it's necessarily worth it. Although, if it comes on cable and you still have cable,
Wait for the stream.
Watch it for a little bit.
Oh, maybe that's a better question. Should you wait, or should you see it in theaters, or should you just wait for the stream? Or maybe those are two separate questions. Maybe.
I don't know. Yeah, that depends. That depends on a few different things. But yeah, you could definitely wait.
Sure.
Definitely, it's worth throwing on streaming if it's like, for a service you already pay for. Don't
Sure.
It's out on streaming now, and you could like rent it for $20 or whatever it is. But don't do that.
Don't do that.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, everybody. This is another episode of Let's Get Trashed. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you let me know. Please go to YouTube, like and subscribe. That kind of stuff is actually really valuable to me. Like and subscribe. Leave a comment. A bunch of comments. Even if you're just saying nonsense. If you can think of the word I couldn't think of earlier in this episode, leave that as a comment, please.
And if you can't think of that word, put the biggest word that you know in the comments section.
Yeah. I'm going to start creating a Let's Get Trashed dictionary, and I'm just going to read all the big fancy words you guys leave in the comments for me.
If you leave a comment, we will try and use that word in a conversation.
Yeah, exactly. And that'll be a little Easter egg.
Eggs.
Yeah, that'll be a little Easter egg for the
There
fans. A little bit of fan service.
Yeah.
Just fitting in something that doesn't make sense or doesn't fit at all, just so that the audience can go, "Oh, I recognize that. That was a thing from the YouTube comment from 6 weeks ago."
Is this the Trash Universe?
What a
Trash
great
Universe nods?
The Let's Get Trashed extended universe, folks. That's how all art has to be created, and now we're doing the same thing with art criticism, which is what this podcast is.
Meta.
Art criticism. Jimmy, where can these fine folks find you?
Yes, it's Instagram right now is probably where I push the most content. Sleepy Cowboy TX, Bad Thrillers TX, and Danger Junior PR.
All right. You can find me at Nick Tozzo Drums on Instagram. You can find me at Nick Tozzo on Twitter if you want to see basically just a bunch of film stuff and some dumb attempts at jokes. Also, Get Trashed Pod on Twitter and at Let's Get Trashed on Instagram. Yeah, follow us on Instagram. I haven't posted enough clips lately. I need to do that, but I'm very busy and I'm actually leaving town in a few hours, so I probably won't be doing that for quite a while. But these episodes will come out as scheduled. Thanks so much, Jimmy D, for recording all these with me, man. I really appreciate you going above and beyond and making sure I don't have to miss an episode.
For sure.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Let's get trashed.
Peace.